And welcome back. A very important matter now. The South African Revenue Service, that's SARS, will automatically assess 3 million South African tax returns from the 1st of August this year. Now, this means that SARS will assess and complete taxpayers' tax returns with information that they've already obtained from employers, banks, medical aid schemes and retirement annuities. Now, according to the tax collector, South Africans will have an opportunity to dispute the SARS findings if they are unhappy. Edward Kieswetter is the Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service, and he joins us now to discuss this further. Thanks so much for your time once again. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning, Sakina, and good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. And I must say, I'm very curious about this. But seemingly, it's not the first time that SARS has done it. You seem to have piloted this already. But this year, SARS is automatically assessing 3 million taxpayers, as we understand. So what prompted the decision?
Well, it has a dual intent. It's part of our journey towards modernizing SARS and to ensuring that honest taxpayers gets a seamless experience. COVID-19 has also accelerated that journey for us, Sakina, because of social distancing, because of the fact that the virus is transmitted by people and people movement. We want to eradicate or eliminate the need for long queues in our offices, which just creates a petri dish of infection transmission. And so what we really are relying on will be the employees who have submitted all of the detail on the income tax on individuals that they have collected, their monthly reconciliation statements, as well as the annual reconciliation statements, as well as all the personal detail, the demographic detail, as we call it, of those employees. In addition, we also receive information from 1,250 financial institutions, which gives us 125 million records of South Africans from whom income tax is deducted, individuals. When we use this information, then using our data modeling skills, we're able to do an assessment for most individual taxpayers who have a standard income with basic deductions. And by basic deductions, we mean from your income is deducted your retirement fund contribution, medical aid contribution, and where it applies also deductions such as travel allowance.
Commissioner Kieswetter, the line not great. We seem to be losing you there, the signal breaking up. So if I could just ask, who exactly falls under this category? We're talking about 3 million people. Are these simply salaried individuals? Who exactly will be covered by this?
So it will be salaried individuals, Sakina, and by what we call a standard income, as I've explained, they don't have multiple employers, they don't have multiple sources of income. They have a single source of income, and the basic deductions, as I said, from their income on a monthly basis, the employers would deduct their contribution to retirement funds, contribution to medical aids, and in certain instances, contributions to travel allowances.
So this automatic assessment started last year with fewer taxpayers, of course. How successful was that project, and how many objections did you receive?
It was very successful. And any taxpayer, it's not called an objection. If the taxpayer receives the SMS from us and they agree with the outcome, they would simply accept it, and the refund that is due to them would be paid into their bank accounts, generally within 72 hours. And on the other hand, if they are not satisfied, they are then welcome to submit their return on the dates that we have provided.
So just if you could explain to us once again, briefly how that automatic assessment works and how accurate it actually is? Because I can imagine people, they want to have control over this particular process, and they may not be too happy thinking that you will now decide exactly how they are taxed, although you do anyway. But just having to relinquish that sort of control, how accurate is it?
So that's an interesting question. For many years already, employers are appointed as agents on behalf of SARS to make the monthly deductions. They make those deductions on the basis of schedules that are prepared annually and provided to employers, generally to their HR or their payroll department. So it's not just a random deduction, it's a deduction in terms of the schedules and the tables. That would then mean employers are also aware of the monthly payroll deductions. So if an employee has no other income and no other deductions other than that which went through the employer, then the amount of income tax that would have been deducted squares the individual employee. Included in that would also be, for example, interest statements from banks. It would be a statement from your medical service provider. It would be a statement from your insurance provider for your pension fund deductions. So the extent of the information that SARS has, we can then reconcile the information we receive from your employer with the information we receive from third-party providers, and then make a complete assessment. Now, SARS has always done this, and in the past, if you were an e-filer, would have presented you with a pre-populated form. You would recall that SARS removed the burden on taxpayers to complete the form themselves a number of years ago already, almost 10 years ago already. But still required you to submit a return. Increasingly, as that information becomes more complete, there should be no need technically for you to submit that return because we have all the information on which to base an assessment. Notwithstanding that, a taxpayer would still have the legal right to make their own submission, which means that they would be presented with a form that is already pre-populated or completed. If they agree with that return, they would simply resubmit the form to us without having to fill in anything. It does provide the income tax payer or the individual earner, though, the opportunity to review the information for themselves and make any adjustments to the extent that there may be a variation between what went through their payroll and what actually transpired between their allowable expenses from the income that they have earned.
So what will the communication look like between SARS and the individual taxpayer who falls into this category? Will you be notifying them? If so, how?
So SARS will identify you as an individual income tax earner for whom there is no submission required. We will then, when we have all the information completed, and we have performed the assessment, we will then send you an SMS notifying you of the outcome. If you agree with the outcome, you simply accept it, and your assessment would be regarded as complete. And as I said, if there's a refund due, you'll be repaid the refund. If there's an amount due to you, you would have to pay that amount, or it will just be a square or balanced assessment, which means you don't owe SARS any money and we don't owe you a refund. If you accept that, then you're settled, and the cash effect to whatever, whether it's a due by you or a due to you, would be affected if there is one. If you don't accept that, you simply have to notify us, and on the basis of the obligation that you have to file, you will then submit your filing.
Well, Mr. Kieswetter, if I could please ask you to just please stay there for us. We're going to take news headlines with Leanne, and then we'll continue with the conversation.